to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today I have a video here for my cask. This is about the ingredients of gin. I have the ingredient water or alcohol, more or less, so neutral grain spirit. And then we have botanicals. And that's the topic of today's video. We have the botanicals. Let's have a look what gin is. Gin is a neutral spirit distilled with juniper. Juniper, no? I will go back into that if I do a video about history of gin. So it's kind of a medicine. So it was used as medicine back in the day. So you use the other botanicals also to enhance your medicine. Yeah, back in the day. Today it's more about flavor. And yeah, so we want to have a gin. The definition is that you have to have the most dominant flavor, or dominant flavor should be the juniper, and then you can add a lot of other materials as well. Funny enough, that's the EU definition. If you go to, let's say, South Africa, they have the gin definition. They have to have the juniper within the still. So first of all, gin is distilled for them. That's not within the EU. You can do maceration and then you can still already have a gin. And I'm not quite sure if it's in the pot or it's in an aroma basket. So a lot of different definitions of gin. So it's not like real unique. If you have some other, legislation in, let's say, the US, it might differ a little, but still gin, it comes from juniper. Let's talk about different types of these botanicals. First is the fruits. Don't really have fruits in here. You could say the berries here are some fruits. Fruits are well used within gin. Many people don't use like apples, something like that. Usually what you typically see a lot is citrus fruits. And specifically the peel of the citrus fruits. Probably it's just left over from when they press the fruits at the juice plant, and then they dry it, and that's then used in the gin production. That is really nice if you have a dried citrus fruit, because they have in this in the peel you have a lot of oiliness. You have oils in the etheric oils with a lot of flavor in there. So they are making it fresh. They're making it bitter, depending on what you use. If you have a grapefruit that's more bitter than, let's say, you have a tangerine or mandarin or something like that. And if you have a lemon that's has more of a acidity character. So there is variation within citrus fruits, but they tend to make it a little bit fresher and all make it a little bit oilier, just because you usually use the peel. I haven't seen anybody who use the inside, or let alone the juice. You can have other stuff in there. I think the Canaima, they have a lot of fruits in there as well. A lot of them dried fruits, but they have really sticky, sweet fruits in there as well. So that is the fruits, usually citrus fruits. Then next up, we go with the herbs. And the next one will be spices. So herbs and spices, is coriander seed now a herb, or is it spice? You can have the coriander leaves. Haven't seen them yet in the production. And so the herbs, they also have a lot of etheric oils in there. You can have peppermint, some people do. I found that a bit too harsh. And usually when you have, it's good for your lungs and good for your nostril systems and that kind of stuff. So that enhances your gin in that way. And the coriander, a lot of people to put it to the herbs, is used in 60% of the gin. So I'm not quite sure where I got that number, and take it with a grain of salt, but it's in a lot of gins. The gin distilleries that I have visited, they're using tons of coriander. And if you have a smell in that's a bit older, so I need to shake it. It just gives volume. It just gives you a volume of spiciness. That comes up to the next, spices. So coriander can also be counted to the spices. Yeah. Yeah, we have like cardamom, which is that one here. Yeah, which also, oh, that has more of a green spiciness, I would describe it. It's hard to describe smells. Yeah, you can have your peppers, your piment, and all these kind of stuff. So there is a lot of gins that you see peppers in them. Usually the stronger ones. If you have a Canaima, I think they do have a little bit of pepper in there, but it's not the dominant flavor in there. So if you want to have spiciness, character, strength, then you usually go for coriander, cardamom, and most peppers do well, and piment, and all these kind of stuff. Still, the herbs and the spices have a lot of variation in there. So you could make your own video about all the herbs and all the spices you can use in a gin, because there are just so many. So this is really the base of a gin. So the what do you call it, the juniper, they could also be lumped in there. Next up is then the roots and the barches. Yeah, you can have barches in there. If you go very technical, then cinnamon is a barch. It's a spice made of the cinnamon tree barch. And some people have that still as a barch, like cinnamon rolls. Is it rolls called rolls? I don't know, sticks. Yeah, and they just throw them in. I've seen that. And yeah, so they have also tons of, what do you call it, of medicinal influences that goes on there. Yeah. And usually, yeah, something about flus and I don't know, colds that you can cure with that. So if you drink a gin with a lot of botanicals, it cures everything. Yeah, no, it just it makes you numb and yeah, yeah, lessens your pain. Let's say it that way. Yeah. So for the root, you can have a lot of bitter roots. There are tons of bitter roots out there. You can have really, really sweet roots like Angelica root. That's also really big ingredient. For some reason, before gin, I've never had any Angelica root. I didn't even know that it exists. And a lot of roots are also known for their, what do you call it? Yeah, digestion enhancement, I would say. So it's really good for your digestion to drink the gin that's made of roots. And also the ginger, that is associated a lot with your immune system. That is technically a root. I would probably put it to the fruits because that's more similar. Yeah, it's more similar to as in flavor to a citrus as it has to the most roots, as it's not that bitter. It's more a fresh one and a spicy and a sharp and a hot one that's with the ginger. So yeah, ginger is something. It's in a lot of gins, I would say, but it's not in like a mass like you could put in coriander, because it would just kill the gin, and it would be just a ginger gin. There's a lot of ginger type beverages out there, so it varies a lot. So yes, we can categorize it a little bit into these 4 fruits, herbs, spices, and roots, but still every category can do pretty much in every direction. Yeah. So this was a little bit of to show you how much botanicals can go into a gin. And a typical premium gin, I would say, has something between 5-6 botanicals up to, I would say, 18. Haven't seen any with 20 yet. And most of them have like, I don't know, 10, 12, 16, somewhere around there. So the bulk will be around 12, I would say. Yeah. So that is really the backbone of the flavor of a gin, as they are the flavor carrying ingredient within a gin. Yeah, the botanicals. That was it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.